A new life begins with the decision to leave behind the past and step forward with purpose. Believe in the possibility of starting anew. The person you want to become is waiting for you to step into the life you deserve. The road to a new life starts with a single step. Take that step today and trust that the rest will follow. Every successful person I know understands the power of their imagination and trust that the rest will follow. Starting a new life can feel overwhelming, but it's not as complicated as it might seem. The truth is, you already have everything inside you to begin again. The process may take time and effort, but every step you take will bring you closer to the person you want to become. In this video, we'll walk through the essential steps to transform your life. From setting clear goals to taking responsibility for your choices, you'll learn how to take control and create the future you've always wanted. No matter where you're starting from or what challenges you've faced in the past, there's always a way forward. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan of action for making lasting change. You'll understand how to stay focused, keep going through tough times, and truly believe in your ability to start over. This is your chance to take the first step toward a new chapter. Stick with me and let's dive into how you can start living the life you deserve. Number 1, set clear goals and pursue them hard. The key to goal setting is clarity. Vague goals are hard to achieve because they lack focus. For example, saying, "I want to be successful," is not enough. What does success mean to you? What does it look like in your life? Define it clearly, whether it's starting a business, getting in better shape, or building stronger relationships. Your goals need to be specific, measurable, and tied to a meaningful outcome. Once you've set clear goals, it's time to pursue them with everything you've got. Goals aren't just something you think about occasionally. They're the fuel that powers your daily actions. To achieve them, you need to be relentless in your pursuit. Don't treat your goals as something that's nice to have. Treat them like a mission that you are committed to accomplishing, no matter what. Pursuing your goals with intensity means doing what needs to be done, even when it's hard. There will be times when progress feels slow, when obstacles seem insurmountable, and when you're tempted to give up. But this is the point where most people quit. They stop just before the breakthrough. That's why it's crucial to stay focused and keep moving forward, even when things get tough. Persistence is the secret ingredient that separates those who succeed from those who don't. When you encounter resistance, and you will, you must push through it. Understand that difficulties are part of the process, not signs of failure. You may have to work harder than you ever thought you would. You may have to sacrifice short-term comforts to achieve long-term success. But when you commit to your goals and pursue them with intensity, the results will come. Staying committed to your goals requires self-discipline. Every decision you make should be in service of your larger vision. It means saying no to distractions, avoiding things that waste your time, and staying focused on what truly matters. Your goals will demand your attention, your time, and your energy. Don't let these precious resources get lost in the noise. It doesn't mean hard work. It also means consistency. Achieving big goals isn't about doing one big thing and hoping for the best. It's about showing up every day, taking small but consistent actions that add up over time. Even on days when motivation is low, keep going. The small, consistent actions you take every day will compound and eventually lead you to where you want to be. One of the most powerful ways to stay on track is to break your goals into smaller, manageable steps. The bigger your goal, the more overwhelming it can feel. But when you break it down into smaller milestones, it becomes more achievable. Focus on hitting one small target at a time. Celebrate each small victory along the way, and use that momentum to fuel the next step. Another crucial aspect of pursuing your goals is accountability. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, mentor, or coach, and ask them to check in on your progress. Accountability forces you to stay true to your commitments, even when things get tough. When you know someone else is counting on you to stay on track, it gives you that extra push to keep going. But you must also be willing to adjust your approach if necessary. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, things won't go as planned. But that's not a reason to abandon your goals. It's a chance to learn, adapt, and find a new strategy that works. If something isn't working, ask yourself, what can I do differently? Adjust your plan, but never give up on the goal itself. Flexibility is just as important as persistence in the pursuit of success. It's also essential to stay focused on your why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? What will accomplishing it mean for your life? Reminding yourself of your deeper purpose helps you stay motivated when the journey gets difficult. Whether your goal is to create a better future for your family, to live a healthier life, or to become financially independent, keep that bigger picture in mind. Let your why fuel your determination. Above all, believe in the possibility of your success. When you truly believe in your ability to achieve your goals, you become unstoppable. Self-doubt can be a huge roadblock on the path to success, but you must replace doubt with confidence. Trust in your abilities. Trust that your hard work and dedication will pay off. Improve yourself. Expect you will be successful. And believe that your hard work and dedication will pay off. When you set clear goals and pursue them with relentless focus, you are not just chasing a destination. You are creating a new version of yourself. Along the way, you'll grow stronger, more resilient, and more capable. The person you are becoming in the pursuit of your goals is just as important as the achievement of the goals themselves. But number 2, take responsibility for your choices today. Responsibility isn't about blame or guilt, it's about power. It's recognizing that you have control over your actions, your responses, and ultimately, your results. When you own your choices, you reclaim the ability to change your direction. That's how you start a new life, not by waiting for circumstances to shift, but by deciding that you'll take charge. Look at your life as it is right now. Where are you thriving? Where are you struggling? Be honest with yourself. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. Maybe your finances aren't where you want them to be. Maybe your relationships feel distant, or your health isn't what it could be. Whatever it is, don't push it aside. Face it head on. Here's why. If you don't acknowledge your role in where you are today, you can't change where you'll be tomorrow. It's easy to say, I'm in this situation because of someone else, or it's not my fault. And maybe you're right. Sometimes things happen beyond your control. But how you respond to those situations is always within your control. And so put the blame where it belongs. Take responsibility and resolve to get better. When you take responsibility, you shift from being a victim of your circumstances to being the author of your story. You stop saying, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what can I do about it? That shift in mindset changes everything. Think about the choices you've made just today. How did you spend your time? What thoughts did you focus on? What actions did you take or not take? Every choice, no matter how small, adds up. The food you eat, the conversations you have, the way you react to stress, all of it shapes your future. If you want to start a new life, you've got to be intentional about those choices. You can't keep doing the same things and expect different results. If your mornings start with hitting snooze 5 times, scrolling through your phone, and rushing out the door, it's no wonder you feel behind. What if you chose instead to wake up on time, spend 10 minutes planning your day, and set a positive tone for what's ahead? That small change could completely transform your day and your life. But responsibility doesn't just mean making better choices moving forward. It also means taking ownership of the choices you've made in the past. This can be hard because it's tempting to blame others or circumstances. But the truth is, even when things weren't your fault, how you responded was your decision. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've made choices you regret. That's okay. Everyone has. What matters is what you do now. Use those mistakes as lessons, not weights holding you down. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I do better? One of the most powerful things you can do is to forgive yourself for past choices that didn't serve you. Carrying guilt or regret only keeps you stuck. Forgive yourself, learn from it, and move forward with a renewed commitment to making choices that align with the life you want. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to do it all alone. Sometimes the best choice you can make is to ask for help. Maybe you need a mentor, a coach, or just someone to hold you accountable. There's strength in recognizing when you need support and seeking it out. Scott Brewers. Now, I want to challenge you to think about this. What's one choice you can make today that would move you closer to the life you want? It doesn't have to be big. Maybe it's choosing to spend an hour working on a personal goal instead of watching TV. Maybe it's having a conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's choosing to let go of resentment and focus on gratitude. Whatever it is, do it. Start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because every day you delay is a day you're choosing to stay where you are, and you deserve better. When you take responsibility for your choices, you step into your power. You realize that no matter where you've been, no matter what's happened, you have the ability to shape what comes next. You become unstoppable because you're no longer waiting for someone else to fix things or for the stars to align. You're taking action. And here's the beauty of it. As you make better choices, as you take responsibility, you start to feel a sense of pride. You start to trust yourself. You realize that you're capable of creating the life you want. That confidence builds momentum, and that momentum carries you forward. Remember this, starting a new life isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about choosing every day to take one step in the direction of your dreams. Some days will be easier than others, but every day is an opportunity to move closer to the life you deserve. Try. Number 3, challenge your limits every single day. Now let's get something clear. Challenging your limits isn't about doing something extreme or exhausting yourself. It's about pushing just a little further than you thought you could. It's about proving to yourself, day by day, that you're capable of more than you ever imagined. Think about the areas in your life where you feel stuck. Maybe it's in your career, your fitness, or your personal relationships. Wherever it is, ask yourself, what's holding me back? More often than not, the answer isn't external, it's internal. It's the doubts, the fears, the stories you tell yourself about what you can and can't do. It's the tables that you've organized in your mind. Here's the truth. Those limits aren't real. They're boundaries you've created in your mind, and they're only as strong as you let them be. Every time you challenge them, every time you take a step outside your comfort zone, you weaken those limits. Start small. You don't need to leap into something overwhelming. If you've never run before, you don't need to sign up for a marathon tomorrow, but you can commit to running for 5 minutes today. If speaking up in meetings makes you nervous, start by sharing one idea. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to stretch yourself just enough to grow. Number 5, are you taking what you learn here? And here's what happens when you do this. You begin to build confidence. Each time you push your limits, you prove to yourself that you're stronger, smarter, and more capable than you thought. That confidence spills into every part of your life. But let's not sugarcoat it. Pushing your limits is uncomfortable. It's supposed to be. Growth always comes with some discomfort. Think of it like working out. When you lift weights, your muscles feel sore because they're being stretched and strengthened. The same thing happens when you challenge yourself mentally and emotionally. That discomfort is a sign you're growing. One way to consistently challenge your limits is to set daily goals that push you just a little further. Maybe it's making one extra sales call, writing an additional paragraph, or spending 10 minutes learning a new skill. These small challenges might seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they create massive growth. Let's talk about failure for a moment, because it's bound to happen when you're pushing your limits. And that's okay. Failure isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign you're trying something new, something bold. Every successful person you admire has failed, probably more times than you can count. The difference is they didn't let failure stop them. They used it to learn, to adapt, and to get better. When you challenge your limits, you start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You stop settling for good enough and start striving for greatness. You stop fearing what might go wrong and start focusing on what could go right. But let's make this personal. What's one area in your life where you know you've been holding back? Maybe it's a dream you've been afraid to pursue, a skill you've been hesitant to develop, or a conversation you've been avoiding. Whatever it is, I want you to commit to taking one step toward it today. Not tomorrow, today. And here's something important. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small. If you stepped outside your comfort zone today, even just a little, that's worth celebrating. Those small wins add up, and before you know it, you'll be achieving things you once thought were impossible. Life begins at the edge of your comfort zone. If you stay where it's safe, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. But when you challenge your limits, when you decide to push beyond what you thought possible, you open yourself up to a world of new possibilities. Imagine waking up every day knowing you're stronger than you were yesterday. Imagine looking back a year from now and seeing how far you've come because you had the courage to push yourself. That's what happens when you challenge your limits every single day. Number 4. Turn failures into lessons and grow. Failure has a bad reputation, doesn't it? People fear it, avoid it, and let it hold them back. But the truth is, failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's proof that you're trying, stretching, and reaching for something better. If you never fail, it means you're playing too small. The first step in turning failure into a lesson is shifting your perspective. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this?" That simple shift in mindset changes everything. Failure becomes less about what went wrong and more about what you can do differently next time. Let me break it down for you. Failure is feedback. It's like a teacher pointing out areas where you can improve. Maybe you missed a detail, underestimated a challenge, or didn't prepare as thoroughly as you could have. That's okay. Every mistake holds a lesson, if you're willing to look for it. Take a moment to think about a time you failed. Maybe it was a project that didn't work out, a relationship that ended, or a goal you didn't achieve. Now, instead of focusing on the disappointment, ask yourself, what did I gain from that experience? Maybe you learned how to communicate better, how to manage your time more effectively, or how to handle setbacks with grace. Turning failures into lessons doesn't mean you ignore the pain. Failure can sting, it's part of being human, but don't let that pain consume you. Feel it, acknowledge it, and then move forward with the wisdom it gave you. One of the most powerful tools you have is reflection. After a failure, take time to analyze what happened. What worked? What didn't? What could you do differently next time? Be honest with yourself, but also be kind. Reflection isn't about beating yourself up. It's about gaining clarity. Another critical step is taking responsibility. Blaming others or external factors might feel easier, but it won't help you grow. When you own your mistakes, you take back your power. You're no longer a victim of circumstance. You're someone who's in control of their own growth. Here's an important truth. Failure doesn't define you. What defines you is how you respond to it. Do you let it stop you, or do you use it to propel yourself forward? Every successful person you've ever admired has faced failure, often on a massive scale. But they didn't quit. They analyzed, adjusted, and kept going. Think of failure as a foundation. Each time you fall, you lay another stone. Eventually, those stones become the base of something incredible, your new life. The more failures you turn into lessons, the stronger your foundation becomes. But here's something people often overlook: celebrating resilience. When you bounce back from failure, that's a victory. It's a sign of strength and determination. Give yourself credit for that. Recognize your growth, even if the outcome wasn't what you hoped for. And let's talk about risk. When you embrace failure as part of growth, you stop fearing risk. You start seeing challenges as opportunities. You take chances you might have avoided before, and those chances often lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Every failure carries a gift. Sometimes it's a new skill, a deeper understanding, or a fresh perspective. Sometimes it's simply the realization that you're stronger than you thought. Whatever the gift is, accept it, use it, let it fuel your journey. Imagine this. Years from now, you're looking back at your life. You see the moments when things didn't go as planned, the times you stumbled. But instead of regret, you feel pride. Why? Because those moments taught you how to adapt, how to persevere, and how to grow into the person you've become. So here's the challenge I want to leave you with. The next time you face failure, and you will, don't run from it. Don't let it defeat you. Pause, reflect. Ask yourself, what's the lesson here? Then take that lesson and use it to move forward. Number 5, push through discomfort and keep going. Let's be honest. Nobody likes feeling uncomfortable. Whether it's the nervous energy of trying something new, the sting of a setback, or the frustration of slow progress, discomfort has a way of making you want to quit. But here's the key. Discomfort isn't a sign to stop. It's a sign that you're moving beyond your old limits. Think about any time you've achieved something meaningful in your life. Maybe it was graduating from school, landing a job, starting a business, or even building a meaningful relationship. Chances are it wasn't easy. You probably had to face challenges, make sacrifices, and endure moments when you wanted to give up. But you didn't. You pushed through the discomfort, and on the other side was a sense of accomplishment that made it all worthwhile. Discomfort is like a muscle being stretched. At first it feels awkward and maybe even painful, but the more you lean into it, the stronger and more resilient you become. When you avoid discomfort, you stay the same. When you embrace it, you grow. So how do you push through discomfort when everything inside you is screaming to stop? The first step is understanding why you're doing it. What's your why? What's the reason you want to start a new life? Maybe it's to provide a better future for your family, to feel proud of who you are, or to finally live a life that aligns with your values. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let that why be your anchor when things get tough. Next, take it one step at a time. Discomfort often feels overwhelming because we focus on the entire journey instead of the next step. If you're climbing a mountain and you keep looking at how far you have to go, you'll feel exhausted before you even begin. But if you focus on taking one step and then another, you'll eventually reach the top. It's also important to shift how you think about discomfort. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, start seeing it as proof that you're growing. Every time you feel discomfort, remind yourself, this is what progress feels like. One of the best ways to handle discomfort is to prepare for it. If you know a task will be challenging, plan ahead. Break it into smaller, manageable pieces. Build habits that support your goals. And when discomfort inevitably shows up, you'll be ready for it. There's another piece to this puzzle: self-talk. How you speak to yourself during moments of discomfort can make or break your progress. If you're telling yourself, "I can't do this," or "this is too hard," you're setting yourself up to quit. Instead, speak to yourself like you would a friend. Say, "I can handle this," or "this is tough, but I'm tougher." Surrounding yourself with the right people also makes a difference. When you're pushing through discomfort, it helps to have support. Whether it's friends, family, or a mentor, having people who believe in you can provide the encouragement you need to keep going. Now let's talk about persistence. Pushing through discomfort isn't a one-time thing. It's a daily decision. There will be times when you make progress, only to face another challenge. That's part of the process. The people who succeed aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who refuse to quit. And remember, pushing through discomfort doesn't mean ignoring your needs. It's okay to rest, to ask for help, and to take a moment to regroup. Rest isn't quitting. It's recharging so you can keep moving forward. Discomfort can show up in many forms. It might be the fear of failure, the frustration of slow results, or the uncertainty of trying something new. But no matter how it appears, it's temporary. What's permanent are the lessons you learn and the growth you experience when you keep going. Picture this: a year from now, you look back at today. The discomfort you're feeling now will be a distant memory, but the progress you've made will be undeniable. You'll be stronger, wiser, and closer to the life you want, all because you chose to push through instead of giving up. So when discomfort shows up, and it will, welcome it. See it as a sign that you're on the right path. Remind yourself why you started. Focus on the next step and keep moving forward. Because the life you're building is worth every ounce of effort, every moment of discomfort, and every challenge you face. Number 6, control your time and energy wisely. If you're serious about starting a new life, one of the most powerful steps you can take is to control your time and energy wisely. Time is your most precious resource. It's finite, and once it's gone, you can't get it back. Energy is the fuel that powers everything you do. Learning how to manage both effectively is the key to creating a life that matters. Let's begin with time. Time is non-negotiable. Whether you use it well or waste it, the clock keeps ticking. But here's the thing. Most people don't even realize how much of their time slips away on things that don't serve them. Think about your own life. How much of your day is spent on activities that move you closer to your goals? And how much is spent on distractions, procrastination, or things that just drain you? The first step to controlling your time is clarity. You have to know what matters most to you. What are your priorities? What are the goals you're working toward? If you don't have a clear vision, it's easy to spend your time on things that don't matter. But when you know your why, it becomes easier to focus on what truly matters. Now let's talk about planning. If you don't plan your time, someone else will. Start each day with intention. Take a few minutes to decide what you want to accomplish and prioritize the tasks that align with your goals. It's not about cramming your day full of activities. It's about being purposeful with the hours you have. And here's an important truth. Saying yes to one thing means saying no to something else. Every decision you make about how to spend your time has a cost. If you're saying yes to endless scrolling on your phone, you're saying no to time with your family, personal growth, or achieving your dreams. Be mindful of those trade-offs and make choices that reflect the life you want to create. Let's shift to energy. While time is limited, energy can be replenished, but it takes effort to manage it well. Your energy is like a bank account. Every task, interaction, or decision you make withdraws from that account. If you don't take steps to recharge, you'll run on empty. Start by identifying what drains your energy and what replenishes it. Are you surrounding yourself with negative people who leave you feeling exhausted? Are you stuck in habits that sap your motivation? On the flip side, what activities leave you feeling refreshed and inspired? Make a conscious effort to limit the drains and increase the activities that energize you. Pay attention to your physical health. Your body is the engine that powers your life. Eating well, staying active, and getting enough rest aren't just nice to haves, they're essential. When your body is strong and well rested, your energy levels soar, and you're better equipped to tackle whatever comes your way. One of the biggest energy thieves is multitasking. When you try to juggle too many things at once, you're not giving your full focus to any of them. Instead, practice single-tearing. Commit to one task at a time and give it your full attention. You'll not only be more productive, but you'll also feel less drained at the end of the day. Boundaries are another critical piece of the puzzle. Protect your time and energy from people or commitments that don't align with your goals. It's okay to say no. In fact, saying no to the wrong things allows you to say yes to the right ones. And don't forget about rest. Rest isn't laziness, it's a necessity. Taking time to recharge isn't a waste. It's what allows you to show up as your best self. Whether it's a quick walk, reading a book, or simply sitting quietly, make space for rest in your day. Here's a practical tip. Conduct an audit of your time and energy. For 1 week, track how you spend every hour of your day and how those activities make you feel. Be brutally honest. At the end of the week, review your results. Where are you wasting time? What's draining your energy? Use that information to make changes. And let's talk about focus. In a world full of distractions, staying focused is a superpower. Limit interruptions. Turn off notifications. Create a dedicated workspace. Do whatever it takes to guard your focus, because it's the key to making meaningful progress. Remember, controlling your time and energy isn't about being busy. It's about being effective. It's about making intentional choices that align with the life you want to build. Imagine a life where every day feels purposeful. A life where you wake up with energy, knowing exactly what you're working toward. A life where you look back and feel proud of how you've spent your time. That's the power of managing your time and energy wisely. In my experience, your mind and body need clear goals. Number 7, commit fully to improving yourself daily. If you truly want to start a new life, you have to commit fully to improving yourself every single day. This isn't a half-hearted effort or a once-in-a-while decision. It's a daily practice, a deliberate choice to become better than you were yesterday. Personal growth isn't a destination, it's a lifelong journey, and it's one of the most rewarding investments you'll ever make. So, what does it mean to commit to improving yourself daily? It means waking up each morning with the intention to grow, to learn, and to become a better version of yourself. It's about embracing the idea that you are a work in progress and that there is always room to improve. The first step is self-awareness. You can't grow if you don't know where you stand. Take a hard look at your life. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Be honest with yourself. This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about understanding where you are so you can figure out where you want to go. Once you have that clarity, set clear, specific goals for improvement. Maybe you want to develop a new skill, improve your health, strengthen your relationships, or build more confidence. Whatever it is, write it down. Goals give you direction, and they help you measure your progress along the way. Now let's talk about action. Improvement doesn't happen by accident. It happens through consistent, deliberate effort. Every day, take at least one small step toward your goals. Read a book, practice a skill, exercise, or have a meaningful conversation. These daily actions might seem small, but over time, they add up to incredible results. One of the most powerful ways to improve yourself is to become a lifelong learner. The world is full of knowledge, and the more you learn, the more you grow. Read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, and seek out mentors. Surround yourself with people who inspire you and challenge you to think differently. But growth isn't just about adding new skills or knowledge. It's also about letting go of what no longer serves you. Maybe it's a habit that's holding you back, a mindset that limits you, or a fear that's keeping you stuck. Whatever it is, face it head on. Growth requires courage. The courage to confront your own limitations and work through them. Let's not forget the power of reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to look back on what you've learned, what you've accomplished, and where you can improve. Reflection helps you stay on track and reinforces the progress you're making. Another key to self-improvement is consistency. Growth doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't come from a single burst of effort. It comes from showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. Remember, the small things you do consistently are far more powerful than the big things you do occasionally. And while you're working on improving yourself, don't forget to celebrate your progress. Recognize the wins, no matter how small they might seem. Every step forward is a victory, and celebrating those victories keeps you motivated to keep going. Let's talk about mindset. To commit fully to improving yourself, you need to believe that change is possible. You need to have a growth mindset, the belief that your abilities, intelligence, and potential are not fixed, but can be developed with effort and persistence. This mindset empowers you to see challenges as opportunities, failures as lessons, and effort as the path to mastery. One of the greatest benefits of committing to self-improvement is that it builds confidence. As you grow, you start to see yourself differently. You realize that you're capable of more than you thought. You start to trust yourself, to believe in your ability to handle challenges and create the life you want. Often, our motivation to become self-improved is pointed to the things we don't want to do. But remember, improvement isn't about perfection. It's not about comparing yourself to others or trying to meet some unrealistic standard. It's about being better than you were yesterday. Focus on your own journey and don't let comparison distract you from your progress. Don't care about self-improvement. Improve yourself and then focus on the progress you make. Imagine this. A year from now, you're looking back at the person you are today. If you've committed to improving yourself daily, you'll see a person who's stronger, wiser, and more capable. You'll see someone who's taken control of their life and made real, meaningful progress. So make the decision today. Commit fully to your growth. Start small, but start now. Take that first step, and then another, and another. Before you know it, you'll have built momentum, and that momentum will carry you forward. Every day is a new opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become better. Take advantage of it. Make personal growth a non-negotiable part of your life, because when you commit to improving yourself daily, you're not just changing your habits or your skills, you're changing your life. Number 8, keep learning and adapt to new challenges. Let's begin with learning. Life doesn't come with a manual. Every experience, every interaction, every setback has something to teach you, if you're paying attention. Learning isn't confined to classrooms or textbooks. It happens in the real world, every single day. The question is, Are you open to it? To keep learning, you need to cultivate curiosity. Approach life with the mindset of a beginner, always asking questions, always looking for ways to grow. When you face a challenge, don't shy away from it. Instead, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Whether it's a skill you need to develop, a lesson about resilience, or an opportunity to see things from a new perspective, every challenge has something to teach you. One of the most effective ways to keep learning is to seek out new experiences. Step outside your comfort zone. Try something you've never done before. Meet people from different backgrounds. Travel to places you've never been. Each new experience broadens your perspective and adds to your understanding of the world and yourself. But learning isn't just about gathering information, it's about applying it. Knowledge without action is meaningless. If you learn something new, use it, practice it, test it out in the real world. It's through action that learning truly takes root and becomes part of who you are. Tactical values of martial arts training refer to the following tacticals: storytelling, inspired repetition. Now let's talk about adaptation. Life is full of unexpected turns. Plans change, obstacles arise, and sometimes what worked yesterday won't work today. The ability to adapt isn't just a nice to have, it's essential. Adaptability is what allows you to thrive in the face of uncertainty. To adapt, you need to be flexible. Holding on too tightly to the way things should be can leave you stuck when life doesn't go as planned. Instead, focus on what you can control. Ask yourself, what's the next best step I can take? Adaptation is about finding solutions, even when the path ahead looks different than you imagined. Adapting also requires a positive attitude. Challenges can feel overwhelming, but if you approach them with a mindset of growth and possibility, they become opportunities. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, view them as stepping stones. Each one is a chance to learn, to adjust, and to come back stronger. Here's an important truth. The world is constantly changing. Technology evolves, industries shift, and societal norms transform. To stay relevant, you must embrace lifelong learning. Whether it's picking up a new skill, staying informed about current trends, or learning to work with new tools, staying adaptable means staying prepared for the future. But let's not forget the emotional side of adaptation. Change can be uncomfortable. It can feel like losing your footing. That's why resilience is so important. Resilience isn't about avoiding difficulties. It's about facing them head on, learning from them, and finding the strength to keep going. Nevertheless, to build resilience, surround yourself with people who uplift you. A strong support system can make all the difference when you're navigating change. Lean on friends, family, or mentors who encourage you to keep growing, even when it's hard. Reflection is another key part of learning and adapting. Take time to evaluate your experiences. What worked? What didn't? What would you do differently next time? Reflection helps you identify patterns, understand your strengths, and recognize areas for improvement. Let me share a simple but powerful habit. Make a commitment to learn something new every day. It doesn't have to be big. It could be reading an article, watching a tutorial, or having a meaningful conversation with someone. Over time, these small daily actions add up to significant growth. Another critical aspect of adapting is learning to let go of what no longer serves you. Whether it's an outdated belief, an unproductive habit, or a toxic relationship, holding on to the past can keep you stuck. Letting go isn't easy, but it's necessary if you want to make space for new opportunities. Imagine this. A year from now, you're facing a challenge that would have seemed impossible today. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, you tackle it with confidence. Why? Because you've spent the past year learning, growing, and adapting. You've built the skills, knowledge, and mindset needed to overcome whatever life throws your way. Everything you do is important and critical, and if it were impossible, it was certainly important. Number 9, stay accountable for every decision you make. The first step to accountability is recognizing that every decision you make shapes your reality. From the small choices, like how you spend your morning, to the big ones, like the career you pursue or the relationships you nurture. Each decision matters. Your life is the sum total of these choices, and when you take ownership of them, you gain the power to shape your future. Let's talk about honesty. Accountability begins with being honest with yourself. Are your decisions aligned with the life you want to create? Are you prioritizing what truly matters to you? It's easy to justify poor choices or ignore the consequences of your actions, but accountability demands that you face the truth. Take a moment to evaluate where you are today. What choices have brought you here? What would you do differently moving forward? And once you've taken stock of your current situation, it's time to commit to intentional decision-making. Intentionality means acting with purpose and clarity. Before you make a choice, ask yourself, does this align with my goals? Is this the best use of my time and energy? When you make decisions with intention, you set yourself up for progress rather than regret. Now let's talk about follow through. Accountability isn't just about making good decisions, it's about sticking with them. How often have you set a goal, made a plan, and then let it fall by the wayside? Follow through requires discipline. It's the willingness to do what needs to be done, even when it's uncomfortable or inconvenient. This is so important, because if you're not willing to focus on the long term, then guess what happens? You'll retreat. One of the best ways to stay accountable is to track your progress. Keep a journal, create a checklist, or use a productivity app. Whatever works for you. Tracking allows you to see how far you've come and where you might be falling short. It's a simple yet powerful way to stay on top of your goals and maintain momentum. But accountability doesn't mean going it alone. Sometimes we need a little external support to stay on track. Share your goals with someone you trust, a friend, mentor, or coach, and ask them to hold you accountable. Having someone check in on your progress can provide the extra motivation you need to stay consistent. Let's not ignore the role of self-compassion in accountability. Holding yourself accountable doesn't mean being overly critical or harsh when you make a mistake. It's about recognizing your missteps, learning from them, and getting back on track. Nobody is perfect, and setbacks are part of the journey. What matters is how you respond to them. Here's an important truth. Excuses are the enemy of accountability. We all have reasons why things didn't go as planned. Some are valid, and some are justifications. The moment you start making excuses, you give away your power. Instead of focusing on what went wrong or who's to blame, focus on what you can do to fix it and move forward. One of the most challenging aspects of accountability is making tough choices. There will be times when the right decision is the hardest one to make. It might mean saying no to something tempting in the moment or stepping out of your comfort zone. But remember, growth often lies on the other side of discomfort. Accountability also requires you to take ownership of your habits. Your daily habits are the foundation of your life. Are they supporting your goals, or are they holding you back? Be honest with yourself about what needs to change, and take action to replace unproductive habits with ones that serve you. Accountability, that is half of the answer. Imagine waking up each morning with the confidence that comes from knowing you're in control of your life. You've made a commitment to yourself and you're honoring it. That's the power of accountability. It builds trust in yourself. Over time, that trust becomes unshakable, and it propels you towards success. Accountability isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about showing up every day, making the best decisions you can, and learning from the ones you do differently. It's about taking responsibility for your life, not because you have to, but because you want to. So take a moment today to reflect on your decisions. Are they moving you closer to the life you want, or are they keeping you stuck? Commit to owning your choices, big and small. Hold yourself to a higher standard, not out of obligation, but because you know you're capable of so much more. Starting a new life isn't about waiting for the perfect moment or blaming others for what's gone wrong. It's about taking control, staying accountable, and making the choices that will lead you to the future you deserve. Number 10, believe in your ability to start over. Believing in your ability to start over begins with understanding that every day is a new opportunity. No matter what has happened before, you always have the power to take the first step towards something different. That doesn't mean erasing the past. It means deciding that the past doesn't define you. Your story isn't over, and the chapters ahead are still being written. The first thing you need to understand is that starting over isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of strength. Many people view starting over as a form of defeat, but the truth is, it's often the bravest choice you can make. It takes courage to admit that things need to change and to take action toward that change. It's easier to stay stuck in a situation that's familiar, even if it's not serving you. Now, a few years ago, a physical therapy student with a crucifix cart was walking through a red square. But it takes real belief in yourself to let go of what no longer works and make the decision to move forward. You have to trust that you are capable of growth. The person you are today is not the person you will be tomorrow. Each moment you live, you're becoming more knowledgeable, more skilled, more resilient. Even if you've faced setbacks or disappointments in the past, that doesn't mean you're incapable of starting over. Your past doesn't have to be your future. One of the hardest parts of starting over is the fear of failure. We often hesitate to take the first step because we're afraid of falling short or making mistakes. But let me tell you this, failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. Every failure is simply feedback and information about what didn't work, so you can adjust and try again. When you believe in your ability to start over, you understand that failure is not something to fear. It's an essential part of growth. Another important part of starting over is letting go of self-doubt. Many people struggle with the belief that they're not capable of making a fresh start. They think they're too old, too inexperienced, or too far gone. But that's simply not true. You have the strength, the wisdom, and the potential to rebuild your life at any age. It's never too late to start over. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has faced moments when they had to start over. They faced failures, disappointments, and challenges just like you. What made them different is that they believed in their ability to keep going, even when the odds were against them. They believed that they had the power to change their circumstances and create a new path for themselves. Now, one of the most important things you can do is silence the negative voices that tell you it's too late or that you're not good enough. These voices, whether they come from others or from within, are rooted in fear and insecurity. They will always be there, but you don't have to listen to them. Instead, focus on the voice inside of you that says, I can do this. That's the voice of possibility, and it's the one you need to trust. When you believe in your ability to start over, you also believe in your ability to make choices that align with the life you want. You don't have to stay stuck in situations that don't serve you. You have the power to choose a new direction, even if that means stepping into the unknown. Starting over might feel intimidating at first, but the truth is, the unknown is where growth happens. You can't create something new by holding on to the old. As you begin this new chapter, make a promise to yourself that you'll embrace the process, not just the outcome. Believe that you're capable of starting over and then take the steps to make it happen. Don't rush it. Allow yourself the time and space to grow, to make mistakes, and to learn. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Also, be kind to yourself as you begin this journey. Starting over can be uncomfortable, and there will be moments when you question your ability. But remember, growth doesn't happen in a straight line. It's messy, it's challenging, but it's also beautiful. You don't have to have all the answers right away. The important thing is that you believe in yourself enough to keep going. In times of uncertainty, it's easy to focus on the obstacles, but focus instead on the opportunities. Starting over means new possibilities, new lessons, and new experiences. It means you get to create the life you truly want, based on the lessons you've learned, the strengths you've developed, and the dreams you still hold. Think about what you want to create for yourself. What does the life you're moving toward look like? When you believe in your ability to start over, you're not just hoping for a better future, you're actively creating it. End of part 2 of part 1. Whatever has happened in the past, whatever mistakes you think you've made, know this: you can always start over. Your potential is unlimited. You have the ability to reinvent yourself, to learn from your past, and to build something even better for your future.